Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Brandy and I'm from the Santee School District, and I also brought Lindsay Meyer. She is our Benefits and Risk Management Specialist. I'm the Personnel Technician and we are from Santee School District. And I put together a little presentation for you guys, and I'm going to go through some of the slides just to give you an overview of what it's like working for the Santee School District, working and living in Santee, and then we'll do a little Q&A at the end if you have any questions. I also brought some iPads, and those are, if you're interested in working for the school district, you can submit a job interest survey that'll send your information directly to us, and then we can reach out with a more tailored response, send you direct job links to positions that you might be interested in, and we can get the ball rolling from there. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask at the end. We're hiring, so so on my screen it looks different than what's presented up here, but I kind of like it. We are East County, we're a little country, so we're hiring. We're just going with that. This is a picture of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Santee Lakes or the Santee area, but that's a picture I took on one of my morning walks. That's at Santee Lakes. Beautiful area. I live in Santee, work in Santee. My kids attend Santee School District schools, and I absolutely love living there. Where young minds meet, open doors is our motto. A little bit about us. We have 9 schools in our district, which is actually pretty small considering the size of some of the school districts in San Diego. We are a K through 8. We also have preschool and some TK courses. So we do not offer any high school curriculum. And so if your interest is more for the younger population, then this would be a great fit for you. We have 6,400 students. Again, a pretty small number considering. I personally like that. I like working with a smaller group. My experience as a parent of students at the Santee School District is it's one of those districts where the principal knows your name and everybody, you see them at the grocery store and things like that. So I personally like it because I attend the meetings and I feel like I'm actually being heard. I'm a person, I'm not just another number. And so I personally love working and being a parent with a school district like the size of Santee. We have 18 ethnic groups and 36 languages at our school district, and we would always love to expand that. We would really, really like some diversity in our school district. We have 850 employees. We'd love to make it 851 if anybody's interested. Always looking to grow. We have a ton of positions that are currently open, and we also have substitute positions as well. So if you want to test the waters or take a position that works a little bit better with your schedule, a substitute position is actually a perfect way to get your foot in the door with the Santee School District. If you've worked for a large district before, then you know that there is quite a process for onboarding. There's some online tests you must take, a background check, a physical, things like that. And so it's a little bit of a process to onboard. And so if you want to start as a sub and just get all of that taken care of, so when a permanent position becomes available, the onboarding process is already done, then it makes it a little bit easier. These are some of the schools in our district. My kids have attended the Sycamore at the end and Carlton Oaks in the red, and great experience at both of those. Working in Santee, I'm not even sure where that word went, but so working in Santee, this is the school boundaries up here. And as you can see, we have 9 schools up there. They're spread out all over the city. So if you are closer to the El Cajon area, we have actually a couple schools that are on this side of the 67 or the 52. So it's actually pretty close to here. It took us maybe 10 minutes to get here. We have a lot of one of the schools is K through 6, and the rest are K through 8. A lot of opportunities there. One of the biggest benefits we have is we have the trolley. Takes you straight into the heart of Santee. And so that kind of takes out some transportation issues. And we have, of course, the Santee Lakes, which I showed a picture of earlier. We have a golf course, beautiful hiking trails, tons of hiking trails out in Santee. So if you're an outdoorsy person, that's a great area for you to live and work. This is our sportsplex here, and so after work, pop on over, get a soccer game, a softball game. There's always something going on there. Up in the top corner over here, that's Rio Seco. That's actually one of our schools. And right across the street from it is the school district. That's where Lindsay and I both work. And we have the YMCA's here with the big aquatic center. Just out of the picture, there's a huge community park, and they do like concerts in the park and things like that there. And so it's a fun place. It's a fun place for families. It's a fun place to work, and everything's kind of centered in the town center. And it's just a really great atmosphere there in Santee. Lots of outdoor stuff to do and community feel. All right, join our team because we're hiring. Oh, look, that's right. And we have a lot of different positions available. And from out of school time staff, which is, we have a really big need for that right now. Those are our positions that start as early as 1 o'clock and they go till 6 o'clock. The great news about working with the Santee School District is you're off by 6 o'clock and no weekends. So that's a great selling point if you really want to keep those weekends to yourself and your evenings to yourself. And so out of school time staff will come in when the kids get out of school, and they have a really, really great curriculum that they're starting to implement called the Expanded Learning Opportunity. No, I think that's wrong. Expanded Learning Program. Expanded Learning Program. And they are starting to focus more on the whole child, which is great. They're focusing on social emotional, they're celebrating diversity and culture, they're allowing the kids to play up their own strengths and giving them opportunities to be leaders. It's just such a great, I read the curriculum, I'm blown away by it. It would be an exciting thing to be a part of. If working with youth is your passion and like developing these young people and giving them some motivation, giving them some confidence, supporting them to kind of come into their own and play up their strengths, that would be a really, really great position for anybody that's interested in helping youth develop and kind of support them as they are figuring out who they are. We have a health clerk, teachers, like I mentioned before, substitute. You can be a substitute in any one of these positions that you see. You can be a substitute bus driver. You can be a substitute for out of school time staff or instructional aide, even health clerk, secretary. You can be a substitute for any one of those positions. So we're looking for people who are student-centered. Like I mentioned before, the curriculum is focused on the whole child, and so we're looking for people that keep the child, the student, at the center of everything we say and everything we do. Of course, we want someone who's committed to excellence. We only want the best in Santee School District. Ongoing professional learning. We want people who want to help develop their own personal career, personal development, and we want people who don't get complacent and are not okay with just the minimum. We want those that are inspired to keep growing, keep learning, and so that they can develop themselves and give more to the community. And of course, an effective team member. We're all in it together. We're small schools in a small district, and so being a great team player is essential in making sure that we're all working towards the same goal. Okay, some of the skills that are needed in these positions. We have administrative. Of course, you'll need some typing, which I just found out that you guys offer typing tests, so that is amazing. So you know exactly where to go to get that. Some help in Microsoft Office would be great. My position requires that, and I'm not proficient at it, but I'm learning, and it's really exciting. We do have some perks of working with the district that I'll get into later that kind of, well, if you have a skill that you need to develop, the school district actually offers a little bit of a perk to get you to work on that and earn some extra money at the same time. Child development, they're looking for staff that has some experience with early childhood education, first aid, CPR, your associates, or passing the NCLB is a No Child Left Behind test, and we offer that at the school district. The great thing about working with the out of school time team is even if you don't have your first aid, even if you don't have your AA or your NCLB, your CPR, they will help you. They will help you get that after being hired. They'll administer the test. They'll get you the resources you need to get your CPR and your first aid. And so even if you see a position online and you think you're perfect for it, but you don't quite have all of the qualifications that they're asking for, it's still a good idea to reach out and say, I really think I'd be great for this position, but I'm missing A, B, or C, and see what we can do to help you. We really are interested in finding the best, and if you're the best and you don't have your CPR and we don't get you because of that, that's our loss. And so we're there to help you get onboarded and make sure that we can utilize all the skills you have and help you get the skills that you don't. We do have support services opportunities. That's like in IT, maintenance, bus driver, all of these people that help behind the scenes to get the kids to school, help the teachers, and make sure that everybody has everything they need to get through their day. So if you have some IT expertise, I do not, so I need you, and so there's opportunities for that as well. Certificated, those are our teaching, so that you'll need your bachelor's, you'll need some credentials. Special education is an important one, so if that's the path you're going on, there's other credentials you'll need for that. And then we have some specialized employment opportunities like speech pathologists and occupational therapists, and they require specialized certificates, training, and education. But if you're going that route, then you'll understand and you'll be receiving those anyways. So these are just some of the overview of some of the skills needed. And but like I said, if you are interested in any of the positions and you feel like you're lacking in one area or the other, then some of our benefits that come with being an employee at the school district, we have 21 different health plans to meet your personal needs. Do you want to say what you want me just to go? Oh, okay, I'm just going to go with it. Lindsay is our benefits coordinator, and I don't know everything about benefits. I do know that when I got hired on, I received automatic vision and dental, and there's the health plans. There were so many to choose from that I could customize to my personal needs. I have kids, and so I needed something that was going to cover them. I love the different choices I had when I joined, because I was like, wow, that's not just a blanket coverage, it's something that I can customize to my own family. Medical, dental, vision, and life insurance coverage comes with it. Professional development opportunities, I touched on this. I need to be a little bit more proficient in Excel and some other Microsoft Office Suite programs, and so the school district site will offer a stipend if you spend some time developing those skills. And I'm working on that right now. So that's another little perk of working with the school district. Employee assistance program. This is really great. It's offered to every single employee at the school district. If you are having an issue that is specific to your needs, it could be mental health, it could be legal, it could be just needing somebody to talk to, our employee assistance program has a plethora of resources for you. You call up the number and they'll get you someone to talk to, or they'll refer you to somebody that can help, and that is free to all employees at the school district. We have hiring incentives for some of our specialized positions up to $15,000. And so if you're looking at some of the special education, some credential programs, then that would be a great incentive. Or if you know somebody that's working that direction, then refer them to our school district, because we are giving them a very generous incentive in those departments. And we also get discounts for things like our after-school programs. If you work in the school district, what's the percentage now that you get for Project Safe? And it's like 40%? Okay, we get a percentage off of those after school time programs and things like that. There's a lot. This is just kind of an overview of some of the bigger ones. Okay, the application process. There's different ways to apply. SantTSD.net, the T must have been cut off. That's, of course, your first step if you want to learn a little bit more about our district. That's our website. Go in there, kind of click around, look at the different schools, kind of get a feel for who we are and what we do. There's even a section in there that talks about living and working in Santee if you want to get a better idea of our community. If you're in there, you can go to under the Human Resources tab, take you to employment opportunities, and you'll see a banner there. You can click that banner and it'll take you to the entire listing of opportunities currently open at the Santee School District. There's also a little tab that says submit a job interest card. I actually brought some iPads today, so if you're interested in applying for a job or just wanted to receive more information about some of our opportunities, you can fill out the information there. It's exactly what you would get if you click that submit a job interest card link, and it'll take you straight to that. So either or, you can do that in your own time, or you can utilize the iPads we brought. It'll take you to our hiring board. It's edjoin.org. So if you've ever applied for a school district, you probably did it through EdJoin. It'll take you to an entire listing of all the opportunities that are open right now. And just so you know, EdJoin is updated every single week. And so if you don't see something that suits what you're looking for, check back in on a Monday and you'll see more additions. Like I said, a great step is to apply for a substitute position and then go from there. And that concludes my presentation. Again, we're Santee School District, and we'd love to have you on board. I'm gonna stick around for a bit. I can help with iPads, I can answer questions, and I hope to see you guys at our district soon. Thank you. And we are really in need to fill those positions. The starting pay on here does say $15.53, but it has just been increased. And so this information is a little bit outdated, but the good news is it's even more. It's closer to 16 an hour. I think it's 15.80 something an hour now. And so, so the salary that you see here is a little bit lower than what you would actually be getting. And let's see, is there anything else? There's positions that are as short as 9 months a year, then you get the summers off. That works for a lot of people. 10-month positions, there's 11-month positions, mine is 12 months, so I work year round. But the great thing about working with the school district is there's so many different positions that would fit your specific needs. If you need to be off for the summers, if you need to be off during spring break for the kids because the kids are home, a lot of positions are available for working with that schedule, like our instructional assistants. They're only there during class time. And so they have the summers off and the weekends off and spring break off. And so that's a great position if you have moms that want to get back, or dads that want to get back into working, but they need a schedule that works with them because childcare is expensive. Mm-hmm. And so that's a solution there. There's campus aides. They come and they work 2 hours a day during the lunch hour. So that leaves them with time to get their kids to school and pick them up. They work a few hours and then they have time left over to do the household chores and manage their household. So a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different positions. I find that when people start as a campus aide because they just kind of want to ease back into the workforce, they do that for a little bit and then they want to expand a little more, so they pick up another position and they pick up another position, and then pretty soon their kids are at an age where they don't need after school care, and now they're working full time, but they eased into it. And so I think a lot of this is starting a new job and having to tailor your life around that new job. Well, with the Santee School District, you can tailor the job around your life. So that's a good perk. Nice. Yeah.
If I can add something in, we do have a lot of employees also who will work 2 positions. You touched on that a little. So they'll work maybe 2 hours at Campus 8 in the morning, and then they'll go to our out-of-school time program in the afternoon for a total of 6 hours a day. So they're getting that 6 hours of pay in, and then on top of it, they're eligible for full-time benefits because they have 6 hours. Yeah.
Are there any, so is every position that's available at the bachelor level? Are there any positions that are maybe even just high school?
Oh, diploma? Many of them are high school.
Okay.
Many, I would say the majority are high school diploma or GED.
Oh, perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, the only ones that start at bachelor's, I think, are teaching positions and maybe some of the higher admin. But,
okay.
Yeah.
I have a question about transportation. I know that you mentioned that the trolley station is in that area. How accessible are all the schools with furthering that? So like the MTS, the buses, public, do all the schools have access to that?
That's a good question. Do you know that?
So the trolley station is located, like you said, in the heart of Santee, but all our 9 schools are scattered all across Santee. So I wouldn't say that for any school, they could take the trolley, get off and be able to walk to any school. It's more spread out than that. Rio Seco School isn't too far from the trolley station. I would say that's pretty walkable.
I think Cajon Park is just north of it,
Cajon
right?
Park's not too far, so I would say we probably have maybe 2 or 3 schools that are in walking distance.
Okay.
But again, like that, we're pretty spread out throughout
Yeah,
Santee.
and
so.
bus routes, do they kind of go past majority of the schools?
I
that they
believe
can-
so.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into that, because
Yeah,
that's a
let's
good
look into
question.
that further. But I do feel like I see the public transportation going all around Santee in the morning. So yeah, let's look into that a little bit more. That's a good question.
Hi. Well, I'm going to leave all of this information out with you, so that way you can use it or you can share it with others. There's pens, all of our information has these little QR codes, and that'll take you directly to the site that you need, for, like this one will take you directly to applying at out of school time. These cards will take you to our job boards, and this one will take you to learning about working with us, so that's kind of cool too. So yeah, so there's a lot of information within these cards too, so feel free to jump in, explore our school district, and maybe you'll see something that would work for you, or you have somebody in mind and that might work for them. Yeah, so feel free to share, because we're always hiring. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay, is this thing working? Can you hear me okay? All right. First of all, thanks for letting me come here and talk about apprenticeships in construction. My name is Marty Anderson. I worked 40 years in construction. I'm working for the AGC apprenticeship now. It's kind of like my retirement job. I thought when I retired from construction that was it, but then this opportunity came up working with the apprenticeship, so it's still doing what I've been doing for years. I love construction. So first of all, before I talk about apprenticeships and the AGC apprenticeship, I'm going to talk about careers in construction, because that's kind of what it's all about. And then, of course, you know, apprenticeships are a way to get into that and learn how to do construction. But I loved working in construction. It was an exciting job, and it was a great way to make money. Wasn't anything that I ever thought I would be doing, especially in high school. When I first got out of high school, I started going to college, because Mom said go to college, right? But I didn't know what I wanted to do. While I was going to Grossmont College, my brother-in-law asked me to come help him on a construction site. I knew nothing about construction, and I turned him down, and he kept bugging me. So after about 5 days of him bugging me, I said, okay, fine, I'll go help. It turned out I started helping him on the job site. I would go to school in the morning, and I'd go work construction in the afternoon. And after doing that for about 1.5 years, at some point, I realized I really like working in construction. I like building things and making things. And on top of it, I was making a lot of money. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to quit college. So I did. I quit college and started doing construction full time. Did it for 4 years, and from there, I'll talk a little bit later about my, where it led me and everything. But I'll let you know that I found something I like doing that paid a lot of money. Something I didn't realize how much it paid, and what a great way to have a career and so on. That's why when I talk about construction, I get kind of excited about it, and I enjoy sharing and so on. So I got a bunch of stuff to talk about. It's every time I talk to it, it's a little bit different. But first of all, like I said, I want to talk about construction and why it's so cool. A lot of times when I talk to high school groups and stuff like that, I'll ask people what do they think construction is. I'll get people digging ditches or building houses and so on. Yeah, that's a small part of it. But I'm going to show you a video real quick. And in this video, I'll show you what I think that construction is and why it's a cool job. So bear with me 1 second here.
Oh.
Let's see. Okay, let's start with this right here. This is construction. This is what I get excited about when I think about construction, and things like this. not digging ditches, it's not building houses. This is a bridge project we did in Oakland a few years ago. Probably heard about it on the news. Took them a couple years to get it done. But look at all the different aspects of construction here. You got steel workers, crane operators, and all the stuff that goes along with it that you don't really see in this video. It's there, but you might miss it because everything's happening so fast. There's carpenters on this job. There's electricians on this job. There's painters on this job. Look at the carpenters forming up the forms. The rebar guys doing the rebar for the concrete. The next thing they do is they fill that in with concrete, pour the concrete, and strip it out to make the bridge. Tons of jobs right here. A lot of people that out there helping to build this, the people putting up the cables, the people delivering the materials, the truck drivers, the delivery people, the people running the forklifts, delivering and moving material around, and the workers putting it all together. So that's construction. Building homes is construction, and we need home builders. We need people doing that stuff too. But this is a whole other aspect of construction, and it's just one. Bridge building, road building. I did drywall metal stud framing for 40 years. So I didn't ever work on a bridge per se, helping build bridges, but I built lots of other projects. I helped build a prison out in Blythe. I built hospitals. I've worked at the airport a ton, high-rise structures, and so on. So well-paying jobs, very good paying jobs. In fact, the average construction worker in San Diego County, $60,000 to $70,000 a year right now, and it's going up. With inflation, the wages are starting to catch up to inflation. The average of $60,000 to $70,000 is a couple years old. So it's time for that to start catching up to the cost of living, and it will. That's one thing about construction work. The wages do go up as it costs more to live. It's just natural, and it's a good thing about construction. It does kind of follow that. Very well-paying jobs. Like I said, average right now $60,000 to $70,000. In the next couple of years, it's going to be $70,000 to $80,000 and up. All right. So what a cool job! What a cool career to make that kind of money and be able to do stuff like this, or like me, to be able to work on hospitals, high schools. Like I said, I got to help build a prison. and so on. So a great career, a great way to make money, a lot of fun. So with that in mind, let's talk about the 5 misconceptions, because a lot of people go, oh yeah, that's cool. That'd be fun to work on a job like that and make that kind of money, but what about all those things they tell us, all those bad things? It's not safe, and so on. So bear with me a second here.
It's the Microsoft. Yeah, the next one over. To the left.
The PDF.
Yeah, to the left, to the left, to the left.
No.
Keep going all the way to the left. Right there.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so you guys have this handout right here. The 5 misconceptions about construction. All right. So right off the bat, some of this I'll read through. Some of this I kind of know it, obviously. But to start with, construction is unskilled labor. Right there on the number 1 it says construction is often thrown into the category of unskilled labor. That's right here. It's something you do. It's for the people who can't do anything else, right? Unskilled labor, work that doesn't require any special training or knowledge. Anybody can do it, right? I mean, come on, it's just construction work. You just go out there and you do it. It's for the people who can't do anything else, right? This attitude likely stems from the fact that someone doesn't need a college degree to get a construction job, right? You need an apprenticeship. And much of society's mindset, a job that requires a degree equals skilled labor, anything else is unskilled labor, right? However, in many ways, construction work requires even sharper skills than an office job, right? Okay, so first one, unskilled labor. And that's not true. You take skills to do construction. How do you get those skills? On-the-job training. What's the best on the way to do on-the-job training? Apprenticeships, right? I'll explain what that is in a minute here. But obviously, you learn construction on the job. You don't necessarily have to go to college in that sense. All right? Number 2, working in construction means you're uneducated, right? Once again, construction is for people who can't make it in college. Construction is for people that can't do anything else, the people that are lacking in brains or whatever. I'm living proof that's not the case at all. I started college. My mom said I was supposed to. A lot of people ask today, you don't when mom says, you got to do, right? So, but I started doing construction because I found something I like to do, not because I was a dummy. And I quit college not because I was a dummy. I was getting good grades. I was getting A's and B's. But I found something I like to do that paid good money. Once I got into construction, I realized it wasn't for dummies. And think about that video I just showed you, that bridge, right? That takes skills and it takes intelligence to put that together. Now, somebody had to design that bridge. Yeah, we got the engineers, those people that went to school and got their degrees in engineering and know all that math and are really, really good at math. By the way, construction has a lot of math, just for the workers. But you also have the designers. They designed that bridge. It looked real pretty when it was done. Right? Cool looking structure, cool looking thing. When we built things, why not make it look cool? So somebody had to design that. Once it was all drawn up, once all that paperwork was done, all those calculations and everything was done, somebody had to take all that and make it happen. And those are the construction workers. That takes skills. That takes smarts to take that written information and a picture of the thoughts that these people had, the calculations they did on paper, and make it happen, and actually when it's all done, look like that cool bridge. So when people say that construction is for dummies or it's for people that are unskilled, furthest from the truth, and there's evidence right there. All right? All right, let's move on. What else we got? What's our other one of our 5 misconceptions here? Oh, construction is just building a house. Obviously, just discredited that with that video. Let's see here, something, I'm going to go to a longer version. Bear with me because I want to show you a couple of things out here. It used to be, there we go. We don't necessarily need the sounds, just music. So this is the same video you're looking at, but this shows you a little bit better. This is our new facility in Lakeside. It used to be in Miramar. We built this a couple of years ago. It's over there on Riverford Road, just over the hill. This is the construction math class. We moved to Lakeside. I'm glad we did. I like being out here. I grew up in Lamita Village, right, Spring Valley area. So I love East County. These are our equipment operator simulators. So we have state-of-the-art training. We also have the actual equipment we will run also. but we'll put the apprentices on the simulators first and get them up to speed so they get used to using sticks and everything. And then when they get comfortable with that, then we'll take them. We have a 2-acre lot down on Channel Road over there in the lakeside, where we'll actually run the actual equipment. And these are our carpenters. Once again, we're building a house, and I mentioned we don't do houses, right? And so, but the thing is, with the carpenters, a lot of the cuts and a lot of the tools they use and everything are the same thing you would use for a lot of different wood structures. So we do things like this. We'll actually build a house. They get to learn all about the roof structure stuff. This is. I started doing construction in 1976, right? Like I said, right out of high school, going to college, 1976. So I kind of just gave away my age a little bit. But back in those days, the stereotypes and the stuff that you hear about women in construction not being allowed on the job and chased off the job and ridiculed, those things did exist. There's no lie. I saw it happen on the job. I saw women come in and start to do little job on the job site, and I heard men saying, "What is she doing here? They need to get her out of here. She doesn't belong there. She belongs in the kitchen." Seriously, heard these things, right? That was 40-something years ago. Nowadays, that is not happening. Those stereotypes, those things do not happen on the job anymore. Over the 40 years that I was in construction, things changed. Attitudes changed, and laws changed, right? Also, we had the women's movement and stuff that started pushing the issue, rightly so. So here we are now. The laws have changed, and at first it felt like they were being forced, women were being forced on the job, but we realized that they belong there and they have a spot there, and women can do the job just as good as men. So now we are nowadays, those things that used to happen don't happen anymore. So we do need women in construction. They're welcomed on the job. They get paid as much as men. They do the same job as the men. It's up to them. It's just like anything else. With the men, how you advance in construction is kind of your whatever your effort you put into it, and so on. Same thing with the women. Whatever you put into it, and it's rewarded accordingly. I was at a job fair a while back, and a high school girl came up to me and kind of thought she was going to catch me on something about women in construction. She goes, "Okay, so women in construction are allowed. How many women are there in construction? What percentage of the construction workforce is women?" And I thought about it. And I said, it's probably 20% that are revised. No, maybe it's like 15%, because I think I might have been overshooting there. And she goes, and before she could finish, I said, and that's because more women don't apply. So there's lots of jobs, a lot of opportunities out there for women in construction. It's just that the reason the numbers are low, that a lot of women do not apply. For whatever reason, they're nervous about it. Some don't want to do it, and that's okay. There's a lot of men that don't want to do it either. But their opportunities are out there. So to say that construction is just for men and women are allowed, that is not true anymore. All right. The last misconception, number 5, and I'm not even going to scroll down, but it's about safety. And they always talk about construction. Well, it's a high-paying job, maybe, but it's not safe. People die out there. You can probably go out there and hurt your back. And if you don't hurt your back, you're probably going to get hurt real bad. People are dying all the time on construction sites. That's not true either. So yes, people do die in construction. People die on our freeways. People die walking down the street. Things happen in life, and people do die. We're all going to die someday. Construction, the percentage of people who actually get hurt that bad in construction is a lot lower than you would think. The perception is that it's unsafe. The perception that a lot of people die on the construction site, because every time you hear about a construction death, it makes the news right away. And a lot of times, some of those are horrific deaths, people falling off buildings and stuff, but it's not something that happens a lot. And the interesting thing is that over the years, the safety rules and regulations and procedures and the equipment has changed. In 40 years I've been doing this, so many things have been added and attitudes have changed, and the inspectors and the people out there watching over the jobs make sure people are working safe, all those have changed to the point now where it is a very safe occupation. There's a lot of hazards out there, but there's a lot of training that you're going to go through. You're going to get special training or special equipment. As long as you follow the procedures, you follow your training, you wear the equipment given to you, it's a very safe job. Nowadays, when somebody gets hurt on a construction site, it's usually because they disregarded a safety procedure, regulation, or they weren't wearing their equipment. And this is where you hear about people getting hurt on the job. So is it an unsafe job? No. Is there a lot of hazards? Yes. So yeah, is construction an unsafe job? I would say maybe compared to an office job, but then it's a trade-off. You're out there working in construction, it's a hard job, you're out there, it keeps you physically fit. Less people in construction have heart attacks than people working in offices. So there's a trade-off there. Right? I think that office occupation, yeah, you might not fall off the building in an office, but you might not be as healthy. So anyway, so I would disregard these 5 misconceptions about construction. It is a great career, great way to make money. Lastly, I want to talk about, well, I did been talking about money, right? It's a good, great career, great way to make money. Everybody here has one of those prevailing wage sheets right there. Let me see, I do have right here. I'll pull it up on the screen. The average, let me see. These are some examples of the average wages of an apprentice, right? On the first level apprentice, no experience at all, first day on the job. This right here is for a cement mason or cement finishers. First day on the job, you can see here, we have all these columns. We have period, this means level 1 through 6. Level 1 is least experience. Level 6 is the point where you're almost considered a journey person. How many months approximately you'll be in each level. And I say it's approximate because it's based on your on-the-job training and the hours worked. Basic hourly rate, that's what you're going to see on your check. So you can see at level 1, first day on the job with no experience at all, you show up on the job and say, I'm here to learn how to be a cement person. They're going to pay you almost $23 an hour on your check. Along with that, there's health and welfare, so there's medical benefits. There's for the first level that in this cement mason, there is no pension money being paid yet. And then there's some training contributions, some other. The total package for the first level cement mason, $33 an hour. And I say total package because that is the fringe package on top of the basic rate. So what do you see on your check? What are you going to see in your pocket? About $23 an hour, right? That's not bad money to go to school. In a sense, this is what you're getting paid to learn, right? Let me scroll down a little bit here. This one right here is a laborer. You see the labor base rate on your check, $20 an hour. This one does, once again, health and welfare, right? They all have health and welfare. This one does have money going into a pension plan. So these are different trades, right? First one is a cement finisher. This one is a laborer. Now I'll tell you something about the laborer trade. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, there you go, laborer. I had one guy come in to talk about joining the apprentice program, and I suggested the laborer program. He goes, oh yeah, that's what I figured. You just want me to be a laborer. Well, construction is, it's labor, it's work. It's kind of work it is. But the occupation, the trade of a laborer, I wish they would change that name to something like mechanic. Jack of all trades is more like it. The laborer is the person that does a little bit of everything on the job. They're the helper. They are the ones that get on the job at the beginning of the project and are like the last ones to leave 2 years down the road when that bridge is finishing up and they're doing the last little bit of cleaning up and moving stuff away so the bridge is ready to open up to the public. In that video, the laborer would be there. So they're there from start to finish. You do a little bit of everything, so you learn a little bit of everything. When I first started working on big projects, working at the airport, I met this guy, and he came over to help us, and he was the laborer foreman. And I was pretty naive back then. It was kind of my first job on a big commercial job like that. And I'm thinking, oh great, what a job, what kind of occupation is that? You're the top laborer. And I was pretty naive of me because I didn't really realize what he did. I was thinking like everybody else, thinking, probably like a laborer is just, probably the less mindful job out there. Long story short, a couple years down the road, I come onto a job and they said, go see the superintendent, go see Steve, the superintendent. I go over, and it's this guy that had been the laborer foreman. Now he's running the job. He was the project superintendent running the whole job. And at that time, all of a sudden, I realized, and it clicked, like, why not him? Who better than somebody who's been on the job from the beginning all the way to the end. That guy saw everything. He saw how the job starts, he saw all the stuff in between, he saw all the other trades, he got to help out with a lot of different stuff, and he saw how it finished. Who better to run a job than that? And I realized, and over the 40 years out there in construction, I saw a lot of superintendents who basically had started as laborers. But anyway, so here's some basic wages. These are the starting wages for the apprentices in apprentice programs. All right, so let's talk about apprentice programs real quick. Apprentice programs, right? On-the-job training for construction work. But in this case, it is a structured training, right? There are lots of apprenticeships out there. There are apprenticeships for every trade. I talked about here the labor trade, the cement masonry. There's an apprenticeship out there for plumbers, for electricians, for the people who do doors and windows, for the people who do the ceilings like this, people who do cement, and so on and so forth. There is an apprenticeship for every trade that's out there. So if you wanted to work in construction, I would suggest getting into an apprenticeship. The thing about an apprenticeship, they help you get employed. They make sure that you're getting the proper on-the-job training you're supposed to be getting. And then they have what they call supplemental instructions. So they're going to have evening classes or classes that go along with what you're learning out there in the field. So that's what an apprenticeship is, right? Getting paid to learn how to do construction, learning it on the job, hands-on, working with the people who have been doing it for years, and they're sharing their knowledge with you, showing you how to do stuff and make sure you learn how to do it right. And then you'll come into classroom settings where you're going to get your safety training. You're going to get things like construction mathematics, blueprint reading, estimating. And you're also going to get some hands-on classes to help brush up a little bit what you're doing out in the field. So I work for the AGC apprenticeship. This is our new training facility out here in Lakeside. We cover Southern California. We have 2 other training facilities, one in Orange County and one in Riverside. And this short video, like it shows, like I said, that this is what you do in the evenings. You go out there and work during the day, and then at night you come in and take these classes here. So we help with 7 trades. We have carpentry, cement masons, which are cement finishers, drywallers, drywall installers, the drywall finishers are people who finish it and make it ready for paint, right? Equipment operators, laborers, and painters. Those are the trades we help with. Okay, so you can see what we're doing. So this is our shop in the back. It's big enough that we can do, we're doing like a real small house right here. In our lot, we have what we call the labor lot, and we'll go out there and we'll run some of the equipment there. That's not the main place for our heavy equipment, but on that one little spot of land where it was like, showed that it was like nighttime or whatever, that's where we'll do concrete pours. We'll actually form up concrete walls and slabs and footings and stairs and pour concrete there. And so we'll do the concrete finishing and so on. Also with our laborers and our operators, we do trench shoring as part of the safety thing. So we'll actually go out there with the equipment and dig big 20-foot deep trenches. And we'll bring in the trench shoring equipment and show the guys how to use the trench shoring. We also talked about confined space training. So all that's done right there on our lot. So that's some of the other training that you're going to get. And of course, like I said, I mentioned that we do have the other lot, the 2-acre lot down there on Channel Road, where actually we'll run the big equipment and once the apprentices get to that level. Anyway, so it gives you an idea of what you're going to do in the evenings. Majority of your training, 90% of the training is on the job. The cool thing about our program, we are state and federally approved. When you graduate, you get a certificate of graduation from the state of California and the federal government, which you can take anywhere in the United States and other places, other countries, and they're just recognized to help you get a job other places, so it's recognized and has a lot of clout, if you will. There is no cost. It's totally free.
Wow.
So if you wanted to be an apprentice, all you got to do is apply. You have to be ready to work construction because you will be working construction full time. You'll be working during the day, you're going to be working hard. Sometimes you might have to work some Saturdays or some evenings. You know, it depends on where the project is and what they're doing. But if you're ready to do that and be committed, because you will have to go and get to the job site. You have to be there every day, you have to be on time, you have to be dependable. And you have to be a hard worker. You can't be afraid to work hard and take a little pushing. It is construction. I like to say, I think about when I was an apprentice, sometimes I like to equate it to like the NFL boot camp, right? The training camp. And your bosses out there are gonna push you like that. They're gonna say things like, is that as fast as you can go? Can't you move a little faster than that? I bet you could work harder. I bet you could pick up more than one piece of wood, probably could pick up 2 or 3, right? And so they're gonna push you. You gotta be able to take that kind of criticism and pushing. It's gonna be part of construction. They have to be, obviously they can't be abusive and out of control, but it is that atmosphere. You gotta have a thick skin. But if you're up for that, this is a great career. Like I said, and so there's no cost. The only cost is that commitment to up to 4-year program, doing this for 4 years. You have to be committed to showing up to the job every day, working hard, and then at the end of the day, coming to the facility in the evenings a few weeks out of the year, a couple nights a week, like a Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. You're going to come in from 5 to 8:30 and take those classes. If you do that, you'll graduate. You'll get that certificate of graduation from the state and federal government, like I mentioned, which nowadays is more important than you would think. The state of California has passed some laws in the last 5 to 6 years. So, one of them is called the Skilled and Trained Workforce Law. And what that requires is on a lot of the prevailing wage work or public works jobs. And by the way, those are the jobs that pay the most, and that's like these, rates right here, for example. They require that the journeymen on those jobs, a percentage of the journey people, have to show they've graduated from an apprentice program. So for right now, with carpenters, it's 30%. So 30% of the journeymen, the people that have been doing it for years, have to show they went through an apprentice program and have graduated. So to go through an apprentice program, graduate, and get that certificate, right there is money in your pocket. That makes you valuable. I get calls all the time from contractors asking, do I know any of the people who have graduated from the program who are looking for jobs? And right now, the answer is no. Because everybody's working, especially if they've graduated and completed. So anyway, it's a good reason to get into an apprenticeship. Like I said before, there's lots of apprenticeships out there, not just ours, we're just one of them. So if you think about doing construction, you want to do it for a career, then I would say get into an apprenticeship. Depending on what apprenticeship you want or what you want to do, there's, like I said, you can Google them all. Also, feel free, I'll leave my card here, feel free to give me a call anytime. You're also, because you're so close by, you're welcome to stop in anytime at our training facility over in Lakeside, just to walk in and say, hey, Marty said you'd show me around. The lady up front, her name's Sharessa. She's not the receptionist, she's the liaison, she's the one that helped everybody sign up. But if you went there and said, Marty said this or Marty said that, she'll probably laugh a little bit, but she will also help you out or send you my way. So feel free to stop in anytime if you just want to stop by. Aside from that, if you want to apply, we take applications every Wednesday, every single Wednesday, 10 a.m. over there in Lakeside. You're going to need a current California driver's license or ID card, Social Security card, and your diploma or GED. If for some reason you can't find your diploma or GED, you could come in an hour early at 9 and we have an entrance exam. It's only about 200 questions. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. It's 30 questions. It's fairly simple, but we do have an entrance exam somebody could take in lieu of their diploma or GED. So you come in, apply on Wednesday, any Wednesday. We do it regularly, every single Wednesday. In fact, we even did it during COVID. After that, you'll go on the applicant list. The applicant list, people on the applicant list get taken off the list in the order they go on. And our job, once you get on the applicant list, our job, my job, Sharessa's job, is to get you working with a contractor. We have over 300 contractors with our program that have signed state and federal agreements to train apprentices. That means they have to abide by the rules and actually teach you something. They just can't use you for cheap labor. So our job is to get you with one of those contractors to get you working and getting that on-the-job training started. And then, of course, after that, we'd start scheduling you for your evening classes. So, anyways, I think I pretty much covered just about everything. I'm sure there's something else I haven't talked about, but any questions?
I have a comment.
Yes.
My nephew was living in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
He got a heavy equipment certificate and went through all the training, worked for the city in Iowa where he lived for about a year and a half, moved to Lake Havasu, didn't know what he was going to do, and there was a construction crew that was on the side of the road digging up. He got out of his car, went and talked to them, and they said, well, show us what you can do. So he got on the heavy equipment. They were impressed with him. They hired him on the spot. He was making twice as much as he was in Iowa. He kept getting promotions, and right now he's the lead on all the underground in Lake Havasu City, and he's making almost $200,000 a year.
Yeah, yeah.
So heavy equipment, I tell you, I wish I could do it.
Now, I want to say something about we do heavy equipment as part of our apprenticeship. So I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression. I'm not going to say that you can't do it, but I'm going to let you know that is one of the hardest apprenticeships to get into. It's not, once you have the skills to go and get a job is not the problem. To get into an approved apprenticeship, equipment operator is kind of tough, and the reason being is there's less opportunities for apprentices in that trade because there's not as big a turnover. People do it for a long, long time. The other thing is that to get into an apprenticeship, you almost need someone to refer you in, not to get a job, but to get into an apprenticeship. You need someone to refer you in from the company, usually. And so I'll explain a little bit further so it makes sense. Is the equipment that they're running out there, big, heavy equipment, worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, just the equipment itself. So the fact that it's the wrong person on there could damage the equipment is one thing, but also think about the potential to damage other things, people and public property, private property, whatever. So wrong person on that equipment could cause a big problem, could even hurt somebody very badly. So before a company that runs heavy equipment will put anybody on their equipment, they need to see something, they need to see a reason for it. And it was your son, you said?
That's my nephew.
Your nephew. In your nephew's case, he had some, he knew what he was doing, he had some experience, and he could sell it, and they allowed him to get on there and show him. But for someone for them to train as an apprentice, they're not just going to put anybody on there. They want proof that, one, that you have some common sense. Two, that you're dependable. What a great opportunity to learn how to be an equipment operator and be able to do that and get up on those machines. So they want to know, it's like an investment for them. If they're going to spend time on you, are you going to show up every day? Are you going to take it serious? Do you have common sense that you're safe? So how do you prove that to somebody? So here's our dilemma as an apprentice program. We take anybody who comes in and applies. Anybody can apply, 18, but on the other end, there's no age limit. And we have people who have come in and signed up for apprenticeships in their 50s. And if they're physically fit and they can do the job, why not, right? So we take anybody and everybody. So when we take people off the applicant list, we don't know if they've ever done construction before. We're going to give them that opportunity. Some have, some haven't. But the apprentice programs work like this. Everybody gets an opportunity to go out there and try it. Well, these equipment operator companies, they don't want just anybody off the list. They don't know that person. We haven't had a chance to see what they can do. We're sending them out for the first time with no experience, maybe, because that's what we do. We give everybody an opportunity. So the equipment operator company's like, well, we want to know the person before. So how do you get to know? How do you get to know? How do you get on that list of the people they know? What we do and what we suggest, if you want to be equipment operators, you start off as a laborer. The laborers in our program work with the equipment operators. It gets you out there on the job with the equipment operators, with those companies. You get to learn how they work, you get to learn all the safety operations, and you get to prove to those companies that you're dependable and that you're safe and that you have some common sense. And in doing that, the majority of the apprentices in the equipment operator program have done that. They started off, did their labor apprenticeship, and then came back as an operator apprentice for the companies they were working for, brought them back, if you will. Well, that is kind of the route you'd have to go to be equipment operator. I wish it was easier than that, but it's not. And we're not a trade school. We're trade schools. You pay money, you go to a location, one location, and you learn all about something, then you go out and try to get a job with what they've taught you. It's a paid education that's different. There are people that will go to equipment operator trade schools and get their certificate and then try to go out and get a job. They don't do as well because they don't have the field experience. And what I hear is a lot of times when somebody said, I want to go to one of these companies and sign up to be equipment operator, and I say, well, can you operate equipment? Yeah, I went to this trade school. I hear that the chuckles under their breath were pretty common. Okay. Now, they usually will give them a chance. They give them a chance to get on the equipment and show what they can do. But honestly, the companies, Hazard Construction, Hazard Construction, they built a lot of the roads in San Diego. To this day, one of the biggest road builders and underground work contractors here in San Diego County is part of our program. They want to bring in their own people or people who have gone through the apprenticeship as a laborer that they know, and then they'll bring them back in as operators. They train a lot of equipment operator apprentices. So just wanted to be upfront about that with the equipment operator apprenticeship. There's something that you brought up though, about your nephew working his way up. This is one thing. Did everybody get one of these? I didn't talk about this, so very quickly, the one last thing I want to talk about construction work. A lot of people say, okay, construction work pays good money, there's a lot of work out there, but you're going to be stuck as a worker your whole life. That's not true either. There is upward mobility. Your nephew is proof of that. I did the same thing. There is upward mobility. There's places to move up from a worker up to be a foreman, a superintendent, project manager, and so on. There's tons of those opportunities, tons. So those opportunities out there is kind of what you want, your initiative, what you show. And if you want to be a superintendent, you want to be a project manager, it's the same kind of ideas. I did it. I worked my way up to be a project manager over the 40 years, and everything that got me there was what I learned on the job. So once again, still on-the-job training to get you to those spots. You could go to San Diego State and get your degree in project management and go that route and pay all that money. Although the people who have gone the route like I did, went up through the industry, they are more desired because they have the field experience. But anyways, it's not a dead-end job. There's places to go, places to move up, and so on. Okay, anything else? Any questions?
How young can they start?
I'm sorry, how young?
young?
They well, to be in the apprentice program, the state says 17 and a half with the parent signature. We see 18. We will go to 17 and a half with the parent signature, but if you ask me, like normally, I would say no, 18. I want to just, and also we want people to finish school if they're in school. I'll go do a lot of high school presentations, and first thing I tell them, hey, finish school, get your diploma or GED, and then come see us. But for those, there's some people that, for whatever reason, that's not the route they want to go. So I say they got to be at least 18. Rare occasions we'll stretch it to 17 and a half. We prefer 18.
For the high school diploma or GED, like if you don't have a physical diploma anymore, does your transcripts that show?
Yes, transcripts work absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
And if you don't have any of that, you said the entry exam is
Yeah, we do have, we
sufficient?
call it, it's a TABE test, and there's so many versions of the TABE test, large and small. Ours is 30 questions, 15 reading questions, and 15 math questions.
Okay.
So, and you have to be able to get at least 70% on that exam.
Okay.
Okay. If somebody comes in and takes the test and they don't do well, they can come back. We have a second version. They can come back and do it again. If they don't pass the second time, they can come back as many times as they want. It's just not every week. At some point, we're going to say, give it a couple months and then come back and try again. Also, something exciting about East County, the Grossmont Adult Learning Center, and that group here have come up with something. They've toured our facility in the past, and in one of the conversations, the guy said, hey, we're looking at classes to help adults and some other people who might not be going through the regular high school process or whatever. How to be prepared for maybe some of these jobs. What can we do to help you guys have them be prepared? And I brought up the TABE test and the people who didn't have their diploma. And I said, here's the things that a lot of times is stopping them from passing the TABE test. One of them was the math. And of course, basic reading skills, stuff like that. And then with a lot of the Hispanics, the English language. The guy, after I talked to him, he called me up a few months later and said, hey, we got this great idea. We're going to come up with this program where people can come in and, depending on how much they need, from a couple weeks to a couple months or further, come in and get the knowledge they need and the schooling they need just to pass your TABE test. So they don't have a copy of our TABE test, but they understand that the skills, the basic skills that people need. So now, and I wish I would have brought one of those flyers with me, I didn't think about it, but we have a bunch of the flyers, so a lot of times when people will come in and they don't pass our tape test, we'll give them one of those flyers and let them go to the Rosemont College Adult Center and check how to get into one of these programs. It could be as simple as a couple-week class and brush up on your math. So that's something that's offered here in East County, but I think it's super cool. Now the whole idea is we want to get people working, and so on. We want to try to afford them every opportunity and make that happen. So, anyways, like you can tell, I really love construction. I did it for, like I said, I did it for a long time. I worked my way up to be the boss. I retired. I got lucky to do this as a side retirement job. It's kind of cool. So I kind of missed being on the construction side. It gets into your blood, and so I still get to go out there. Very quickly, talk about cool jobs. Just this week, a couple of our contractors are doing some restoration work at Balboa Park. Anybody been in Balboa Park lately and see what they're doing at the Botanical Garden? It looks like it's just a skeleton right now. Well, they were initially going to go in and replace some of the old rotted wood and beef up some of the interior steel infrastructure in there to make it, sound. Some of the stuff was rusting out. As they started getting in and started doing the work, they realized more and more of this would need to replace that. So they basically stripped it down to almost nothing. They've left some of the stuff there, and they're going to rebuild it so it looks exactly like it did before. It is a historical structure there, and they want to keep that value. Anyways, a couple of the contractors who are part of our program are working there. I got to go visit and walk the job the other day. It was super cool to go see what they're doing. But once again, apprentices in our program are working on those projects. Another one of the things they're doing down there is the carousel. They're actually doing some restoration on the carousel right there by the zoo. That's also being done by a couple of the contractors that are part of our apprentice program. So we have apprentices working there too. What cool jobs to be working on and making money at the same time. So, anyways. All right, I got nothing else. I think I've run out of things to talk about. So, no other questions? Okay. Turn off the video. All right, thank you very much. Like I said, hey, great opportunity. Spread the word. Maybe it might not be for you, but you might know somebody out there that this would be a great opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
So thank you so much for having us here today. My name is Yo Wu. I'm a senior HR analyst with the County of San Diego. And I have my colleague here, Alex, who's a HR analyst. And so today we're gonna briefly talk about what services we have at the county, who we are, how to apply, what jobs are currently available, and what future opportunities might be coming. So next, I'm just going to play a short video for you all to kind of talk about the county. I know the county and the city can be a little confusing. Folks are not sure, what services we provide, what services the city provides. So hopefully this will kind of clarify that a little bit, and it'll just be a couple minutes.
The County of San Diego has 18 cities and a large unincorporated area. Some of what county government does covers the whole region. Some covers just that unincorporated area. Let's look at that first. In that area, the county does things a city government would do. We have parks and libraries, build and maintain roads, oversee zoning and building. Our sheriff's department is the police force. County fire provides fire and paramedic service. Then there are things we do for the entire region. We provide a wide variety of social services to give all San Diegans a path to good health. That includes getting food, housing, and healthcare to people in need. We help people with mental health and substance abuse challenges. We investigate and guard against disease outbreaks. We collect child support, manage disaster response. In the justice system, we have prosecutors, public defenders, and probation. We inspect and monitor all kinds of things to protect your health and wallet. Restaurants, beach water, gas stations, price scanners, to name a few. And we also run elections. In a few cases, cities pay us to provide certain services for them, like having our sheriff's department serve as their police or operating their library. Much of this is overseen by our Board of Supervisors. They're elected by people in their districts. The districts together cover the whole county. There are 4 other elected officials: the district attorney, the sheriff, an assessor recorder clerk who sets property values, who keeps records of property, marriages, and births, and the treasurer tax collector who takes in property taxes. That's just scratching the surface. But you can see the county touches every San Diegan's life in some way, and every San Diego voter has a say in who runs the county.
All right, so that was just a brief overview of the city and the county overall. So next, just to go through a couple other things within the county. So the county operates under these 4 major groups. The first one, we have finance and general government. Like the video said, there's the treasurer, assessor, recorder, county clerk, human resources departments under FG. Well, we call it FG3. We have a lot of acronyms with the county. So FG3, and then Registrar of Voters is also under them. We have land use and environment, library, parks, public works, and agriculture, weights and measures would fall under them. Then we have Health and Human Services Agency, public health services, behavioral health services, aging and independent services, self-sufficiency services, and child and family well-being. And then public safety, we've got the sheriff's department, district attorney, medical examiner. There's also the public defender who's under public safety, probation, animal services. All right, so the County of San Diego is committed to valuing diversity and practicing inclusion because our diverse workforce is our greatest asset and our customers are our #1 priority. As an employer of over 19,000 employees, the County of San Diego is an organization committed to veteran hiring, retention, and professional development. We recognize the contributions and sacrifices made by veterans and value the unique expertise and leadership qualities they bring to our workforce. We strive to provide veterans with the resources and tools necessary to maximize their employment opportunities and to assist veterans with their transition into civilian life by applying the valuable skills, knowledge, and training acquired in service to positions and career paths at all levels within our large organization. All right, so some of the benefits of working for the county. I mean, that's usually what people want to know, let's just get down to the point. Why do you want to work for the county? Well, here are a bunch of different reasons why you should work for the county, but I've worked for the county for the last 11 years, and I haven't been in an organization where I felt that they really value the work that I do, that they hear me when I'm in a meeting, that my voice is heard. And in every department that I've been with the county, I've felt that. And just like you all know, I started as an office assistant 11 years ago. I had a degree, but I needed my foot into the in the door, and that was my only way to kind of get in. And I said, okay, I'll work my way up. And in the last 11 years, I've been an office assistant, an HR specialist, a departmental HR officer, now a senior HR analyst. So there's just so much career growth, a lot of professional development that happens within the different departments. I think I've been with 4 different departments, from Sheriff's Department, Registrar of Voters, now the Department of HR, Public Works. So it's a great way to either, if you don't like a department, or you're not, either the one department is not what you thought it was, and there's always an opportunity to go on to another department. You can either transfer, you can promote. Maybe you promoted and you didn't, you're like, oh gosh, this is, not what I was, thinking this is gonna be. I wanna go back to my old position. Hey, there's an opportunity for that too. And then maybe you transfer to a different department or whatever it may be. I think that's one of the main reasons what I've loved about the county is just the opportunity to move around and experience different departments. So again, besides everything that I just said, we've got, paid leaves. We'll pay you, vacation, sick, holidays, floating holidays, bereavement leave. We've got We'll pay for your medical, dental, vision. We've got spending accounts, additional insurances and coverages, life insurance, accidental insurance, long-term, short-term disability as well. And then we have a pension plan. So the County Employees Retirement Association, once you apply and maybe you've been hired, they'll go through this in more detail, but you will pay a portion of your pension, the county will pay a portion, and once you're vested after 5 years, you'll be able to get a percentage of that depending on the number of service years you've been with the county. And then we also have a deferred comp, which is similar to, if you were in a company that had a 401k. You are just putting money into it. The county is not contributing as well, but it's just another way to save for retirement. And then additional benefits, we have perk spots. This is website that there's a bunch of different discounts, like traveling, entertainment, whatever things, household goods. So that's the perk spot that that's a website we can go on and take a look at all those different discounts. And then we have an employee assistance program, EAP. And this program is open to all full-time county employees. That's what we say, but they're not going to turn anybody away. Even if you're a temporary employee and you need some assistance and you call this number, they're not going to turn you away. It just ends up getting billed a different way. But this comes in handy. I've used it myself when I felt that I needed some type of counseling or somebody to talk to. It could be anything. And you call this number, they give you 8 sessions per issue. So it's not 8 sessions per year or whatever, it's per issue. So you could continue to have counseling sessions for more than just the 8.
Right.
And then Transit Pass program. I've also taken advantage of this when I used to work downtown for the courthouse, and I worked close enough where I could take the bus, and the county paid for that. That included bus and trolley. So these are just a few benefits to name, and there's a ton more. One of the benefits that I love working for the county right now is that I have a 4-10 schedule. That's 10-hour days, 4 days a week. I have 3-day weekends. Not every classification or position is going to be able to allow for this type of schedule, but there are a lot, and a lot of them are hybrid now. You can, come into the office 2-3 days a week, work from home 2-3 days. So these are all great benefits. I'm able to balance my work life a lot more. I don't have to sit in traffic most of the days, trying to get home at 5 o'clock, and it's like 6:30 by the time I get home. So tons of benefits to work for the county. And then now I'm going to hand it over to Alex, and she's going to go through some more detail about the hiring process and what that looks like.
So I am Alex, and I'm one of the HR analysts, and I am going to go over the hiring process. I'm going to go through quite a bit. There's a lot of steps. Feel free to stop me if I'm going too fast, or if you need clarification. I am completely okay with it because, like I said, there's quite a bit of steps. So the hiring process with the County of San Diego, every job you have to apply through the county website, which is right there, and we have some brochures that we're going to be sharing with you. And right here is where you're going to find all of our postings. And so I'll show you in the next slide, but this is where you want to be able to start. This is the HR website, and again, it's all this website. And this is how it's going to look like. It says current job postings. This is where you would want to go and start your search. It's in the green magnifying glass. And from there, you can search all of our classifications. We have about 1,000 different classifications with the county. And as of today, we have 139 vacancies as of right now. You can easily search by filtering it. You can filter if you're looking for a specific job, date, salary. So if you want to make it easy, you can filter it that way, or you could just scroll down through the 10 pages however you want to, but this is, when you enter the website, this is where you click. Obviously, there's the frequent veterans resources, how to apply, which is the frequently asked questions, also there. But this is exactly how to get in to start searching our current job opening. Okay, the hiring process. How can I be notified when the job I want opens? So traditionally, we look for jobs. We go to the website and we look. But let's just say that you want something more efficient, or you don't have the time to look every day or every week. You can sign up to be notified when a specific position opens up. So I know you said about, maybe you mentioned office assistant, maybe that's something you would be interested in. It's not open right now. You go into our same website, current job postings. Maybe if I go to the next slide right here. Same website, job postings, and you will then click on the top left menu. You click on job description and salary. You look for the job you're looking for. Let's say it's office assistant. When you click on that, you'll click on subscribe. So basically you're saying that when that position opens up, you will get an email. You will be notified. It doesn't matter which department in the county, it will just notify you saying this classification has opened up. So I know it's a lot once you get on that website. I'll be more than happy to go over more in detail, but website, job openings, top left, it will be menu, job descriptions. You click on it, you pick what you're looking for, and subscribe. Again, you're more than welcome to always look every day, weekly. We don't have a set day when we open, like every 1st or 15th. No, it's like if there's a vacancy, we're trying to fill it. So if you don't want to miss out, you want to be notified, this is one of the best features we have to notify you of these vacancies.
Just something to add, usually the recruitment period is about 10 days is the minimum, and a lot of our recruitments are only open for those 10 days. So you don't check it for a couple of weeks, you may have already missed out on an opportunity to apply for something. So that's why the subscribe buttons is super important. You can go and search, like maybe you don't know that, what the classification title is, office assistant or admin analyst. You can search like, office or receptionist, and certain classifications will pop up, right? And then you can subscribe to it. Again, that window of time can be really small and you could lose out on an opportunity, so that's why it's so important to do this. I do this myself. When I'm looking for an opportunity to promote, I'll go and look for the classification that I want to promote it, and I know, it's not open right now, but I'm going to subscribe, and they'll send me an email within that year, and then I'll know when to apply. I'm not sure if it sends you an email letting you know that it's going to be expiring, because it's about a year that you are on the subscription email list.
That is correct. Let's see which one is this one. Okay, we'll go to the next. What are the entry-level jobs that I can apply for? So kind of going back, there's over 1,000 classifications with the county of San Diego, but we have many positions, from account clerks, animal control officers, road maintenance workers, nurses, temporary, part-time, full-time, you name it. We have a variety, and we have 40 different county departments. So not that I'm sticking to office assistant, but I will go with office assistant. It could be that office assistant classification can be library, it can be in HR, it can be in animal services. So that classification can be used county-wide. So, and I'm gonna get into more detail about like getting on the list and kind of what Yo was saying about the 10 days opening, all that in a bit. But these are some of the classifications, some of the entry level. Okay, I'll go for this one. So, what jobs can I apply with a bachelor's degree? Experience may substitute for education for some jobs, and vice versa. So, please note that some jobs listed here, you can substitute experience for the required education. It is always recommended that you review each job posting thoroughly, specifically under the minimum qualifications section. The experience and/or education that you are required to have at the time of application will be listed in this section of the job posting. In addition, those positions that you can substitute experience for education will be listed here. So not all, but some, but in every job posting under the minimum requirements or minimum qualifications, they'll let you know what experience you need, what education, or if you can do a mixture of both, if you can substitute one for the other. It'll let you know in that section of every job posting. So, but let's just say that you don't have a degree yet. You're working towards your associates or your bachelor's, but you have 30 units, 60 units. That will be then transferred into years of experience. So if you have 60 college units, we will use that as 2 years of work experience. So I don't want you to think like, oh, I don't have a bachelor's and forget it. No, we will give you credit for those college units. And if you don't have the degree, but the job says you can use experience to substitute for the education, it will also be listed there. If it says, it'll be very specific and or combination of education or experience, and then it'll list what that means. And so that's something I want you to know, that it could be either or, and I don't want anyone thinking, well, I don't have a degree, that's the end. No, it's not. So, but I always say, look at the job posting. They're a little bit long, but we try to include everything on there. Everything, even if we're having a market increase, like a salary increase, you're gonna know that. We're trying to post that up front. Hey, this is what's coming in July. You know, we're gonna get you, this classification is gonna get, if it's eligible, this much. If it's an opportunity to do a hybrid, we'll post that there. So it has all that to interview dates. We're letting you know, like, hey, we're eager to hire, and the interview dates are on these days. So we're letting you know as much as information up front. That's what's a little bit long, but we figure the more we give you, the more you have, and you can make a decision about that vacancy. Right now, as a matter of fact, we have the Administrative Analyst 1 and 2 open. This is one of the classifications where if you have, say, a bachelor's degree for Admin Analyst 1, that will qualify you. But let's say that you don't have the degree, we will then look for the 4 years, and it's very specific on like the experience you're needing. Like if you have the research and analytical work, personnel, budget, that can substitute for the education component. So that's one that's open right now. Also the 2 is open right now. So as a matter of fact, we also have a human resources specialist open right now. So, okay. So the hiring process, I have applied, and what are the next steps? Going to what Yo said, the recruitments at the county, the majority of 10 days minimum. And I say that because the departments may need a little bit more days. For example, I'll have an environmental health specialist trainee, and that's open for 6 weeks at the request of the department. But it's gonna be a minimum of 10 days. What happens is you submit your application. Once it closes, an analyst like myself will review the application. I will tell you this part. It's very important to fill out an application thoroughly. And I know that sounds pretty standard, like, oh yeah, just put in my information and go. Put as much information that's relevant or that you've done in that job. I always say, let the analyst determine if I need to know that information or not. Don't rule it out yourself. Put what you've done in that job and fill it out thoroughly. Attach what the job announcement says. If it's asking for a resume, if it's asking for your transcripts, if whatever it states, attach it. That is, I see that often where it says, see resume. And I'm like, I need to see it. It's great, attach your resume, don't get me wrong, that's great. But don't make that the main source of the information. Fill out your work history. And I just recently started with the county. I know Yo has been here for 11. I've been with another government entity, and I will tell you that for the last 15 years I've been doing this, that is how people don't get through. At the time of application, that is not filled out completely. And that's it. And I know sometimes then our candidates get discouraged. Whatever their reason is, like, forget it, never mind. And it could be something so simple as you just didn't put your information there, or they didn't put enough. Work with budgets. Tell me what that means. Give me that information. So I'm sure you've done a lot more than just looking at a spreadsheet. What did that entail? So I say, give it to me and let me weed it out and look at it. So fill out your application, include your attachments, include your resume, but don't make it as C resume or, you know, one word. So I know we do a lot more than just that one word. Once like I said, once that application period closes, we review the application, we will send out a notice. The non-qualifying candidates will receive a notice first, and you will have 10 days if you happen to be in that, that you did not meet the qualifications. In that 10 days, and I know it says there'll be more details, and I will get into more details about that, an opportunity for you to appeal. You want clarification, maybe you forgot to attach your transcripts or that typing cert, whatever that case is. Those are what those 10-day appeal is for. Okay, and I'll get more into that in the next slide. Say you are in the qualified list. You met the minimum qualifications, you were determined eligible, you will be placed on the list. You will be placed on the eligible list for that specific job. I don't know if there's gonna get more detail, because I know that I'm just summarizing it, but assistant, and you get on the eligible list for the office assistant position. If that position opens up with the various department, you only need to get on that list, that one list. I don't want you to think there's for different departments, so you only apply that one time. But if you would like to get on the admin analyst 1, admin analyst 2, and the office assistant, we're talking about 3 different type of applications, 3 different eligible lists. But I'm not sure if you are familiar with the governmentjobs.com website, how you submit your application there for us, but it's also for other entities. I only bring that up now because once you put all your information in your profile and your work history, when you reapply for another position, you're not reinventing the wheel. Everything's already there. You're just, maybe if you completed a class or a course, you're just adding to it. But once you put all your information that one time, it's what you use multiple times. You just update it as you go if you need to add, edit. But once you put the time in to put it together, then that's what you're going to be using from there on. So to the hiring department. So you are determined eligible. You are on the list. The hiring department gets the list, and they are the ones who selects and conducts the interviews. Okay. They also do the job offers and background process, which usually starts shortly after the interviews. Same with the pre-employment medical screening, about 3 days after the successful background investigation results. And an anticipated start date will be also based on the successful completion of background and other mutually agreed upon date between the candidate and the department. So, like I said, most of our job postings will have an anticipated interview date, an anticipated job offer date, and an anticipated start date. Again, it's give or take how it goes, what you mutually agree upon, but we try to be as upfront, and we are very motivated to fill our vacancies. So we're letting you know we do have a process, but we are ready to hire. So, okay. So the next slide is if you don't. So this is the one where if you receive the email that you did not meet the minimum qualifications. Say that you are in that situation, I don't want you to get discouraged. It could be something as, like I said, simple, that you didn't provide enough information, or maybe you forgot to attach something. This is your opportunity. You have 10 days from when you get that email, and you have to reply to that email. And you could say, what happened? Can you clarify? Or maybe you recognize that, oops, I forgot to get those transcripts. This is when you communicate with that analyst and that email you get. But again, there's a specific time. It will say there you have 10 days from the day you receive that email. And let's say that you did forget something. Hey, you submitted, the analyst will communicate with you and say, this is what I need, or can you tell me exactly what you mean by this, and we'll go from there. If you happen not to meet the minimum qualifications, we'll let you know. And we could even say, you know what, it requires 5 years of X experience. You only have 4 years and 3 months. How about, and there's times where we'll say, hey, you don't meet the minimum qualifications for this, but are you interested in this? Why don't you apply for this? I'll even go and send you the link for you to apply directly. If you're not, they'll be like, hey, keep an eye, subscribe for the position again, and then it'll notify you again when it opens up. So it's not the end of the journey with us. It might be at that moment, But if it is that you don't meet it, we'll let you know, but again, each analyst will try to encourage you to apply it elsewhere or have you come back. Or if it's a misunderstanding or we just needed a little bit more information or the additional docs, we'll let you know. We'll work on it. If that's the case, I enter that information, one of the analysts will, and then you'll be placed on the list. So I am very appreciative that the county does this. It's not like, sorry, bye. No, we still give you an opportunity to work together and see how we can get you qualified if you do minimum qualifications. If not, see if there's something else for you. Okay, so here is another video of county employees telling you what it's like to work for the county.
I really enjoy working for the County of San Diego because of the people who work here.
You get a chance to be innovative.
The environment is great.
And it's just fun. The people you serve the public.
I can grow, and I can develop, and I can advance.
We're always looking forward. We have some of the newer technology.
I am so happy to come to work every day. I'm so happy to get the opportunity to help others. I work for the county because I really wanted a space where I could grow and learn, but at the same time make a difference in a meaningful way.
Working for the county is being a part of our community. It's serving the public, and that's why I do it.
Working for the county is awesome. All right, it really is. I think working for the county has so many benefits. Working for the county is something that I'm very happy to have. It's an opportunity, it's growth, it's experience that you can gain from crossing different departments, crossing different areas.
Working here represents what San Diego is all about.
That is it for us. Here is our contact information. I know we said a lot, so if you have questions for us now or if you want to pull us aside, we're open to answer your questions. But as we shared with you, we have, like I said, 1,000 over classifications, entry level, mid-level, manager, you name it, we have it all. So I'm sure there's something for everyone who's looking for employment.
We're talking about when you put in the information, sometimes where it's not enough. I kind of chuckle because I do that. So for me, I just finished school, but while I was in school, so for the past few years, I've been bartending. So a lot of my previous experience is bartending. However, before that, I've done a lot of clerical work, but you know, they only go back so far. So a lot of my experience isn't related to the jobs that I'm looking for because it only goes back so far. But I do have a lot of experience even prior to that. So what do you suggest in that situation?
My suggestion would be to like cater your application to the job that you're looking for. So, you know, if you have clerical experience, for instance, and you're applying for an office assistant, you maybe, you know, don't want to put in your bar experience because now, like, that's going to take up, you know, additional space for your other experience. Bring up that experience that is relevant, you know, up to the, you know, top, and add those ones in, and maybe take some out. You know,
my only thing with that is because of how hard it is. It just it looks like there's a gap then. Does that make sense? So it looks like, so you weren't working these years, and then your last job was in, I don't know, let's just say like 2015. You were doing clerical work before, so 2020. So that was where.
Yeah.
And I get the same. That's my thing too. Sometimes I'm like, well, you didn't. There's other people with more experience, but I'm like, no, I know all of this that you're saying, but I don't have that listed.
Yeah, there is a section on the work history that says, you know, why did you leave, the reason for leaving, and you can always say, you know, if the next one, like, oh, I had, you know, such and such years, I was, you know, some people are like taking care of family, or it was, you know, yeah, I was the only person, you know, to be able to take care of my children, and so I was, you know, at home, you know, stay-at-home mom or something like that. So you can always put that information there. You can always, you know, I would say that's probably the best place to put it if you're trying to maybe explain years, if there's a gap in your work history.
And I will say that some job descriptions will say recent. I was gonna
Within
say
the last
some,
2 years.
and then it'll be that specific.
Yeah.
So, and others won't. My recommendation would be to include all your work history.
Yeah, I don't think there's a limit. I think you can keep adding work history. Yeah.
Even though you may say like bartending is not relevant to a position, right? And it may or may not, but I say put it all, including that office assistant that was from whatever years, because there's one thing I did learn recently, and it was for a library. It was an entry-level library position. I don't recall which one, so don't hold me again.
Right.
But when I met with the senior DHRO there, she was looking for a specific skill set. And she was saying those individuals that work at the grocery store, they're customer service clerks, baristas, and she named it, would be the best fit here. And I'm like, what? I'm like, please explain. It's like, if you can work as a barista at Starbucks at that level with that customer service, I need you here at the library. So someone like her could say she can be bartending and individuals and, you know, loud or whatever, right? She can man the desk here. You see, I have never really thought outside the box there until she sat me down and explained that to me. She said, that is experience I need here. So say that that's what you were looking for and you would have not added that bartender, she might have given you that, I want to interview her. Because she
And
can
also, yeah, keep in mind, like, you know, your duties as a bartender may be stocking or serving customers, but you may want to include like, you know, great customer service or, you know, whatever. If you did, maybe you had to do some type of accounting. You had to like
cashiering,
you know, your drawer. If you had to, you know, balance that out every night. Those are skills that you should be putting on your work history.
Yep. So I would say, and let. And you have to be like, don't add more work to the analyst, please don't. And so I know that I speak for myself that I say put all your information and let me determine like no, that's too old, or no, because the job description says 5 years. You do that and let me do the work and at that point and say nope. Don't weed yourself out.
That's always my I'm always like,
and I'm only speaking right now for us. I can't speak for other government entities or employers, but put that and let me determine that no or yes. Okay? Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
I did apply for the city of San Diego and I got an email back, but it said something like you successfully like passed this process or something, and then they gave me like an expiration date, like my thing will expire by like November or something. So does that mean I'm just like on that waiting list? Until, because I was like confused.
City or county?
You said the city?
City?
Yeah, so same
concept like how we work. So you met the minimum qualifications and you got placed on that list. So your name is going to be on that list
until that date.
Until that date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We work similar like with the city. We have, you know, some of the civil service rules that kind of are the same, but I used to work there, so that's why I can see that. I don't want you to think I'm just like, where's she coming up with that? But we kind of work that way, and every time they have a vacancy, your name is on that list.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So what happens is with a lot of these classifications, when you apply, you're applying to a pool, and when a department has a vacancy, they'll request the list of candidates in this pool. So you're not guaranteed an interview just because you applied. It took, like for my office assistant position that I got, they called me a year later, like right before my expiration date, and told me I had an interview. And then at that point I was like, yes, of course, I'll come interview, but what position are you talking about? Because it had been a year. so I was like, oh gosh, like, you know, what position is it? So, you know, it could be that you are waiting, you know, a while before a department either has a vacancy or that, you know, you finally made it, you know, they've looked through the list and, you know, they want to interview you now. And just so you know, the County of San Diego, we have this process called blind applicant screening.
Yeah.
And so when you apply, yes, all your information is there, but when the department requests the list, they don't get to see your name, your, you know, veterans preference, you know, anything like that, because, you know, I think we found that, like, you know, sometimes when people, you know, look at a name, or they can tell whether you are female or male, like, those decisions, you know, that shouldn't have come into play when you're just trying to find somebody that's qualified for the job, right? It shouldn't matter whether you're male, you're female, you know, your name looks like a certain way, you know, that should not matter, right? And so that's what happens when you submit an application. Yes, you're submitting all your information, but the departments don't get to see that until they request to interview you. At that point, they will get your name and then your contact information so they can schedule that interview. But until until DHR, our department, gets that that they move these candidates into the interview process, they won't see those names. They are just looking at your work experience.
And then when they pick you for an interview, and then we were just talking before that, and I failed to mention that, we were just talking about that, I was going to talk about that. They're looking at your experience, and that's how they're looking at, like, who they want to interview. They're not, you know, saying, oh, we want to interview Alex, and no, they're looking at your experience or whatever it is that they're looking for, and they'll be like, these are the 4 individuals we want to select, and then we release the information. As a matter of fact, just 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a department, and I found myself saying that I want to be like, oh, and I kept saying the applicant, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't disclosing any information. The applicant meets the minimum qualifications, the applicant has a certification, but there were times where I was like, nope, no, I'm not gonna, you know, because I want to be able to respect that and make sure our process, we have an integrity in our process, ensure that it's a fair process, so, for sure, yeah.
So essentially it's a proactive hiring process, so you're having the candidates listed so that way they're readily available. In a sense. Okay.
Yeah. I know at first it could be seen like, wait, I have to get on, do all this and then get on a list, but once we have that established list and vacancies, you know, are popping, the list goes, and then it's, so yeah.
Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.